So I said that I wasn't going to cover the Charlie Kirk memorial. I told my family, I said, you know what? I'm going to set this one out because I know what it's going to be. And I don't even want to give it any coverage. I don't even want to talk about it because all it's going to be is one big, giant political pep rally and one big, massive episode in gaslighting us into believing that this dude was some sort of a hero. And I'm really tired of talking about him. So I had planned to not bring this one up and just completely set this one out. I might have did a video talking about spam and how much I love to put it in macaroni and cheese. I might have made y'all a video showing you how I go about making spamaroni because that's how little that I honestly cared about this political pep rally that they called a memorial for Charlie Kirk. But then I saw this clip and I said, well, damn it. Just like Al Pacino, every time that Al Pacino in The Godfather 3, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. That's exactly what happened when I saw this clip from Donald Trump. And folks, I have never been more proud of Donald Trump in this moment, and I thank him. You may think I'm crazy. I thank Donald Trump for this moment because it will live forever. Words live forever. Charlie Kirk's words will live forever, and so will Donald Trump's. And at this man's memorial, he used it to stand up and fan the flames of hatred. And I will never let them ever forget this moment. Take a look.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Oh, trust me, they hate their political opponents too. Everybody there, they hate us too. But I want to point out that when he said that, the crowd went wild. They were at a memorial for a man who they have actually had the audacity to say would have been the 13th disciple if he'd have lived during the times of Jesus. They have put his head next to Jesus. They probably put his head on Jesus. They have showed us AI images of him running to meet Jesus. And at what was supposed to be a memorial for him, the president of the United States stands up in that moment and says, where I disagreed with him was I hate my political opponents. And the crowd cheered. The crowd cheered. Folks, if there's any silver lining in these really dark days, I'll say this. Charlie Kirk's words will live forever. So will Donald Trump's. And as Erica Kirk goes forward, Charlie's wife, her words are going to live too. And they will have to defend them. There will come debates one day, if we get to have them in this country, where they will stand a Democratic candidate up, and it better not be Hakeem Jeffries because he has no balls, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But there will be a Democrat who will stand up next to a Republican and say, these were your words in this moment that was a national tragedy, in this moment that should have never happened. In this moment where a man lost his life, you all used it to turn it into a political pep rally. You all used it as a place to take your hatred to the stage and further and drive division even more. And the reason I said what I said about Hakeem Jeffries is because when they were voting on whether or not to have a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk or not, Hakeem Jeffries voted yes, we should have one. And Charlie Kirk was a man who said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Hakeem Jeffries rushed to sign that and agree that Charlie Kirk should be remembered before he endorsed Mom Donnie. Don't ever let him forget that. I don't normally attack the Democrats because I've always said we have too much division on our side and we have too many people on our side always beating up on John Fetterman, and he's the last guy you should ever try to make the face of your party. But that was some bullshit, and I can't stay quiet about it. For Hakeem Jeffries, I also heard Cory Booker. Don't quote me on that one. I'm pretty sure, I'm 95% sure I'm right on that one, but I wouldn't doubt it. When they do that, and then later they have a moment where they own a Republican, and then someone says, oh, they're just doing that for political theater. This is why they say they were just doing that for political theater. But this is how Charlie Kirk is going to be remembered. That was his memorial, and folks, it was terrible. And listen, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right up front. I'm not going to play you the clips of RFK Jr. I'm not going to play the clips of his wife, Erica. I don't even want to. I don't even know that I will ever be able to actually talk about anything that she said during that, because it was just so nails on a chalkboard bad. And I'm not going to talk about Stephen Miller, little Pee Wee German up there throwing his fit. We're not going to talk about that. I just want to zero in on the president, because it starts at the top and trickles down into that arena of hatred. And so Donald Trump stands up there and he further divides. He further drives the division by saying it's the radical left and they're going to be investigating us. There's a problem with this bullshit he spews here, but take a look.
Terrible thing. Because you can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. Can't let it happen to a country. The Department of Justice is also investigating networks of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, fuel, and perpetrate political violence. And we think we know who many of them are.
Yeah, I don't think he got the memo on that one, because they have been investigating Charlie Kirk's death and they have found no ties to the left. But it still didn't stop him from getting up there and saying it. And I'm so tired of the way the mainstream media has spun this one. It's been the biggest gaslighting campaign ever. The way that they've set and spun this. They'll go over on Twitter, the dumpster fire that Elon calls X. They'll go over there. They'll find a page that's got 2 followers of somebody jumping up and down and celebrating Charlie Kirk dying. And they'll say, this is the left. This is the left. Look at these evil people. And we're over here going, no, we're not celebrating. We're not mourning, but we're not celebrating either. Because we condemn political violence. We never wanted to see this happen. What we wanted to see happen was Charlie Kirk's ideas defeated in debate, defeated on the national stage. What I wanted to see, I didn't want to see this ending because now he's a martyr. I wanted more of like, and I don't want to spoil the ending for the TV show The Shield with Vic Mackey, one of my favorite shows ever. But I kind of wanted one of those endings where he just has to live with it. I wanted one of those endings where the best thing that he would ever get in life might be to host a reboot of Jerry Springer. That's where I wanted to see him end up. Not dead and not a martyr. But before they had a shred of evidence, one way or the other, they was blaming the radical left. And even when his own DOJ and FBI and everybody that's working under him goes, there's no ties to the left, sir. He still uses that memorial to go on stage and say that. Because that's the type of leader that we have. And so I'm going to tell y'all how that I will remember Charlie Kirk. I will remember Charlie Kirk just like I remember everyone else. I will remember him by the life that he lived and the words that he said. These men that I got on my wall, I get questions all the time from people asking me, who are these people behind you? Well, right over here, that's not the old man from Pawn Stars, okay? Sorry. That is the great legendary country singer, John Prine. I will remember John Prine for his words and for what he had to say. Right down here below him is Tyler Childers, one of the best country artists to come along in the last 20 years. I will remember Tyler Childers for the words that he had to say. Right down there is the great Ken Kesey. He wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and did all the acid trips with the Grateful Dead. I will remember him for the words that he wrote. And over here is Hunter S. Thompson. I will remember him for all the words he said. Right there is Neil Young. I will remember him for all the words he said. And down here is Keith Richards, and I will definitely remember him for all of his badass guitar riffs and all the crazy shit that he said. I remember people for the life that they lived, and the way that I will choose to remember Charlie Kirk when someone says, what did you think about him? I'm just going to quote him back to them. Then I'm going to tell them to take those quotes to work and see how far they get. That's how I will remember Charlie. I will remember him by the life he lived and the words that he said, and I will be quoting him till I'm an old man. And if one of my grandsons, great-grandsons walk up to me one day and go, hey, Papa, who was Charlie Kirk? I will lean down and give them one of his quotes. That's how I'll remember him. And I'm also not going to forget this moment ever in a million years. I'm not going to forget this moment right here when the president of the United States said this about a former president who is now suffering from cancer.
The very angry, mean Biden. You know, Biden was always a mean guy, but never a smart guy. You know, even you go back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, he was a stupid guy, but he was always a mean son of a bitch, you know? How's it working? Not working too well for him right now, as it says. So when you start feeling sorry for him, remember, he was a bad guy.
You know, Charlie Kirk was always a mean guy, but never a smart guy. He was a stupid guy, but he was always a mean son of a bitch. Well, how's that working for him now? When you start feeling sorry for him, just remember, he was a bad guy.